Well, welcome back to Midlife Explorer. It's Saturday, August the 30th. Our final full day in Prince Edward Island, unfortunately. We've been here 2 weeks at a wonderful cottage on the Murray River. So I'm out for my final paddle. I've had a few good paddles when we're down here, but I've been waiting for the right opportunity to be able to paddle down to the Murray Islands and maybe Murray Harbor. For the first time in 2 weeks, actually, we have an onshore breeze, which means that, actually the last 2 weeks the wind has been blowing downriver, and for most days it's been quite strong, so therefore, with gusts up to 30 kilometers an hour, a bit difficult to actually paddle back to the cottage once I get down to the islands. Today it's the opposite. The wind is actually coming upriver. That's most likely going to change as the day progresses, but we'll see. Anyway, the plan is to get down to the Murray Islands and then paddle up to Murray Harbor, at which point I'll have the option of a pickup if the winds are strong. But if things stay the way they are right now, most likely I'll just paddle back up, because I'm definitely able to get back up this river right now with the way the wind is blowing. And if I can extend the paddle, then that'll be the option I go with, but I have made arrangements for pickup if necessary. But it's about 8 kilometers down to the islands and then another couple of kilometers over to Murray Harbor. So if I choose to get picked up, it's a 10-kilometer paddle. If I choose to come back, it's a 20-kilometer paddle. But been looking forward to this. It's when you start planning for a vacation, I actually mapped out a couple of different paddles that I wanted to do, and I've been able to get upriver and up McClure's Pond, which was nice. I did that the other day. And now I'm tackling the downriver paddle, which I've been kind of putting off because the winds really have not been favorable. But again, they're perfect today. So looking forward to today's paddle, and unfortunately my last paddle in Prince Edward Island this year. But we've already made arrangements to come back next year. We do come every year because our daughter is down here. So we'll be back at the same place next year, and I'll be bringing one, if not 2 kayaks next year, so we can explore some of these places again. There's been barely any wind at all so far. It's almost like glass. Yeah, if you're ever down here with your kayak or you want to go rent a kayak, there are places around that you can get them. The Murray River area has plenty of places to paddle. You can certainly paddle up and down the river itself, which is what we've been doing. But if I was coming down for a day and it was windy here, I'd actually just drop in at McClure's Pond and paddle up and down that. That's a nice little paddle. I enjoyed that the other day. But there's lots of areas to explore here as well, which is why I'm heading downriver. But you can go further up the road here, and actually if you go up to Montague, there are 3 different river systems there that are all tied in together, and they do rent kayaks up in Montague, because I've seen groups paddling up there in the 3 Rivers area or up near Brudenell. I think if we're back here next year, I might throw the kayak on the car one day and go and explore some of that area as well. I've played golf over there and I've ridden my bike over there, but I've never paddled over there. So I think that would be an interesting spot to go and explore as well if we're back next year. Well, when we're back next year, because we're definitely coming back next year. We've already actually booked the cottage, and our daughter will be back again at PEI. So we will definitely be back next summer for a couple of weeks like we have been for the past few. And this has been a good experience having my own kayak down here. We've actually rented kayaks in the past when we come down, but there's always the concern that the kayak's on the roof of your car. We had the bikes on the back of our car last year, for example, and somebody was messing around with them when I did actually come down from our hotel room to take them off the back of the car and put them into the hotel. This year I've got a better locking system, so I'm less concerned about the bikes. But there's always a bit of a concern about a kayak. If people want to take it, there's not much you can do to stop them, even if you've got it locked up. The way that we lock up our kayaks is pretty easy to take the lock off. That's why I brought the Necky, because the Necky of my three boats that I've got, it's the oldest of the three. I still love the boat, that's why I'm paddling it today, but if somebody was to pinch one of my boats, this is the one I'd be less upset about. I'd still be upset. And then obviously my Dagger is my newest boat, and although that would be the boat I would actually prefer to have down here. This year's a bit of a test anyway, so I think next year we'll bring a couple of kayaks so we can have our own. My wife went out for a paddle last week and borrowed one of the kayaks that's at the cottage, but if we are down here going on any longer excursions, it would be nice to have a couple of decent kayaks for that type of a paddle. So I think next year when I come down, I'm going to bring a couple of kayaks rather than just the one. So I figured it's going to take me about an hour and a half to get to Murray Islands, and then from there another half an hour to get up to Murray River. Now, if you look over to the left, you see this all over the rivers in PEI. You can see that they're farming either mussels or oysters, I'm not sure which. Certainly when you come down to the island this time of year, we always have mussels. We both love mussels. We had it the other night at a great little restaurant called the Wheelhouse Inn in Georgetown. I'm not sure if that's mussels or oysters over there though. Well, if you look off to the right, that's King's Castle Provincial Park. It's about 4 kilometers down the road from where we're staying. We actually checked out the park not only earlier this week, but when we were here this spring, when we were checking out the area, we went down to the park. Now I've got grandkids with more grandkids on the way, and that's one of those parks that are on the island that I can't wait to take my grandkids to, because it's a great little park. It's called King's Castle for a reason. We actually have a wooden castle there for kids to play, along with a number of other different play structures, and the park is themed, I think, with Alice in Wonderland, or at least a Disney theme to the park. If you look on the shore, it looks like you could actually rent kayaks down there as well. But definitely a place to come visit if you're in the area and you've got kids. You should check out King's Castle Provincial Park. It's worth the visit. Well, I suppose that's the reason why I like this side of the island so much. It's 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday of a long weekend, and it's a comfortable 21 degrees outside. There's a light breeze. The water is perfect. I've not seen a single soul, or a boat for that matter, in my, paddle down the Murray River as we head now towards the Murray Islands, which are directly in front of us. I have not bumped into anybody yet. In other parts of the island, you would definitely run into people, but that's one of the reasons why I like the eastern portion of Prince Edward Island, because it's quieter on this side of the island. And there are lots of interesting things on this side of the island to see and do, but, obviously Charlottetown is Charlottetown, so it is the largest city on the island, a town on the island, so that's understandably it's a place you have to go. And we love it in Charlottetown, but we've never actually stayed up near Cavendish. We've always stayed close to Charlottetown or this side of the island. Cavendish is obviously where everybody goes, and we have certainly been to Cavendish. We love the national parks there. I think if I was staying over on that coast, I'd stay closer to St. Peter's, though, because we like St. Peter's Harbor and St. Peter's Beach. We originally had a place booked over there this year, but we changed locations in March, and I'm happy we made that change because we love where we're staying. But I do like the St. Peter's area, and I think if I was going to find somewhere else on the island to look for a place to stay, that's a good option as well if you want something that's a little less busy, because in Cavendish is, in the PEI National Park areas, the busiest part of the island for folks who want to stay on the ocean. I do really like Murray River and the Three Rivers area, though. It's a nice area in Prince Edward Island. All right, I have been on the water now just over an hour. I think I've paddled actually about 7 kilometers down the Murray River. And our first destination on our little paddle today is actually the Murray Islands. There's a few islands actually in the mouth of the Murray River, the largest of which is directly in front of us right now. I think I'm going to try to paddle around the first one and see what the water's like on the other side. It'll be a good opportunity for me to actually get out and stretch my legs, which is what I'm about to do now. And then we're going to decide whether I'm going to paddle up to Murray River, which is around the bend on the right over there, or turn on and go back upriver. I'm actually going to check with my lovely wife and see what option she prefers, but if we've got time, I actually might just turn around and paddle back upriver, because it's fine. The water's great today. It's a perfect day to go paddling down the river. I'm glad I finally had a day like this, because this is ultimately the paddle. When you start looking on a map, there were other options planned for the 2 weeks we were down here, but this one was the paddle that was top of my list, so I'm glad that I finally got to fit this one in. And then unfortunately we're going home tomorrow. We've been down here for 2 weeks now, and I'll tell you, the one thing you can't complain about is the weather. It's absolutely been gorgeous down here. Now they're unfortunately having a drought, and if you check the news, there's been even some forest fires down here, but it's been gorgeous weather though. I wonder what this is in the water up here. Oh, cool. I think that was a seal. That was cool. Hopefully he comes back up again. And hopefully I'll get that out of the footage. At least I have my cameras on. He's a little bit off in the distance, but you could just see his head sitting there. And then his tail kicked up. So yeah, very cool. He's down there somewhere. I wish I could see him. The water's nice and clear, but it's a bit dark right now, so I can't see underneath me very well. Fighting the tide. The tide's coming in now, so that's the reason why I'm not making much progress. The good news is it's going to be behind me on the way back. So. When we get around this point here, that'll be the Northumberland Strait. I'm not going to go play out in the ocean today. I haven't got my skirt with me, but or at least the one I've got with me doesn't fit the boat properly. Anyway, it fits the other boat, not this one. It's too small for this one. Let's get around this point though. And we'll take a little break. All right, keep your eyes open. There's 2 seals right in front of us right there. There's 3 seals, 4 seals in front of us, and I just saw 2 go down underneath. right, there are good days and there are great days, and kayaking in the ocean with seals, that's a great day. All right, time for a break. I've been in this boat 2 hours. Let's go and find some shoreline. I'm going to get the drone up for a little bit because I think there's lots of things for us to look at with the drone right now, and then we'll start figuring out which way we're going back. Should be interesting trying to get out here, though it's really shallow. all the places to get out. The place on the beach with a tire. Oh well. It'll do.